Would I be the butthole for adopting only 3 of our 4 foster daughters? Throwaway account for privacy. English is not my first language, so please be kind. So my wife and I are raising 4 foster daughters aged 14 to 16. All of them have been with us from a young age. Some time ago, we had a family discussion about us adoption, and after giving it, some thought they all said they would like us to adopt them. Of course, we were very happy and honored, so we put the process in motion. Now 3 of the 4 girls have either no biological family left or the remaining family agreed to the adoption, but in the case of our youngest daughter, the family refused. They were against her being placed into foster care in the first place, yet none of them offered to take them in after her addicted mother abandoned her. They have played a fairly marginal role in her life so far. However, when they don't agree, the adoption can't happen, and we have to respect that. The problem is my youngest daughter has developed abandonment issues after her mother abandoned her at 2 years old and her going through 3 foster families before arriving at us. She had been in therapy for several years now, and although it has gotten a lot better, the fears are still present. After she heard she couldn't be adopted, she got very sad and anxious and talked about how if she was the only one not adopted, she would be the only one who could still legally be removed from the family. We have been telling her that after almost a decade of her being with us, that chance is very small, but she is still afraid about it. Now, one of the reasons we wanted to at least propose adoption to our daughters, although the main one is of course that we love them to pieces, is that we would make clear to them that we are committed to being their parent their whole lives, not just till they are 18. But while the other 3 girls are very happy and looking forward to it, the whole affair seems to only have made the abandonment issues of the youngest worse, and we feel bad about that. We have been telling her a lot that if her biological family ever change their minds, we will adopt her in a heartbeat, and that it won't change how we treat her of her sisters, but she is still very sad. She isn't sure she wants to come to the adoption ceremony because I will cry for sure, and I don't want to ruin it for them. We have offered to ceremonially adopt her at the same ceremony, but she refused because it isn't the same. To be fair, it isn't. She has never explicitly said she doesn't want us to go through with the adoption of the other 3, but we can see she is very sad about it and that it is feeding into her issues. On the other hand, we don't want to disappoint our other daughters. So, Reddit, would we be the assholes for adopting only 3 of our daughters? Not the butthole. Maybe set an adoption date for her on her 18th birthday? Make a huge deal about it. This is an excellent idea. Have the entire paperwork ready, and make an appointment for the morning of her 18th birthday. Involve her in it every step of the way. I really hope that original poster lives in a country allowing adult adoption. My country unfortunately isn't one of those, so this isn't always possible even if you want to. That being said, original poster would have probably mentioned it in the post if that was the case. I just want to say this is a no buttholes here situation. No way that poor girl is a butthole for being sad / re-traumatized about this. The bio family is the butthole. A family of buttholes, it's like a butthole bargain. Unfortunately, adding more buttholes doesn't reduce the cost, it usually increases it exponentially. No one said it was a good bargain. So true. It's as if they don't want her to be happy. Like WTF? More like a tax of buttholes. Or a butthole surcharge. Absolutely. I find it infuriating that they abandoned her for 10 years but won't allow her to be adopted by the people who love her. How are they even given that power? It's nuts. I am surprised that they are even being allowed to object when not one of them will take her. Like they are basically saying they want the government to pay for this little girl's care and be denied a home when they are capable of providing it. I would at least consult an attorney to see if there's anything they can do. My oldest daughter's biological father has not wanted anything to do with her since she was about 1. She is almost 8. He has another child he has no interest in either. He is also in prison. He refuses to sign away his rights to either child. I am married, and for my husband to adopt her, he needs to sign over his rights, otherwise it will cost us 3x as much to get them taken away. People are infuriating. They don't want the child, but don't want anyone to have them either. They don't want the child, but don't want anyone to have them either. To them, the child is more like a possession than a person. I think it's a control thing. I don't want her, but I don't want anyone else to have her either. It's effed up. I can't believe they have legal recourse after a decade plus, of not having this child in their own care, they likely are trying to say no because they are expecting something financially out of it, I would imagine. Even the mother who abandoned her should have no say at this stage, but why are the wishes of deadbeat extended family taking priority over the 14-year-old who wants to be adopted and the parents who actually want her? I just don't understand it. I don't understand either. Selfish, evil people in this world. When I was adopted by my legal guardians, my biological mom had to sign a document attesting that I'd been abandoned according to the word's legal definition. I was 11 and hadn't seen her since I was 5, but it was still a chore getting her to agree to it. She very much did not want to. Without being adopted, I wasn't able to travel outside the country, obviously. After I was adopted, I was able to obtain a passport. It could be a case where they think by blocking the adoption the child will be brought back to bio mom. They are wrong, but that could be the thought process. She's actually being quite mature about this considering she's 14. She wants her siblings to enjoy the ceremony and she doesn't want to ruin it for them by being sad. Poor girl. The only assholes here are her bio parents. Yeah, agree, and particularly considering that the situation must be super triggering for her. I think the butthole would be the biological family for going against the girl wishes, not the butthole. The girl's bio family are the buttholes in this. Even if they don't do adult adoptions, pretty much every country has a few processes that add up to the same. Adult adoption is just folding together a few things like default distribution of items in case of death, alter your will instead, and who is allowed to make medical decisions for this person / who is allowed to visit in hospital, etc., etc. If you find adult adoption isn't a thing in your country, you can lay out for your daughter exactly what all legally you can do and when you can do it. If she wants a legal name change, then getting the paperwork ready as soon as possible would be good. This is one of those situations where every bit of effort you put into it can feel like an expression of love. When someone feels abandoned and has that nagging voice that says they're not loved, the evidence of John Doe literally went to this much effort to prove that I'm part of the family can help offset it. Laying out exactly what all you can do can help. Openly sharing steps with her can help. Let's not have any last minute "oh it won't happen until 6 months past your 18th birthday," or any fears on her part that it'll end up that way. She deserves to see you checking off boxes on what paperwork you need to have ready ahead of time, and a date marked on the calendar. This is a fantastic idea, if adult adoption isn't a thing in ops area. Yes, this is what I was coming here to say. As soon as she's 18, her biological family no longer have a say and you can do an adult adoption. Maybe you could do something cute at the same ceremony, like give her the adoption equivalent of a promise ring. Like, maybe give all 4 kids a locket or something on the day? Something tangible that she can look at to remind her that she's part of your family forever, and won't be abandoned again? Also, am I the only one blubbering like a fool over this story? You read so many unhappy stories on this sub, and then there's this one, which is the purest thing I've ever had the privilege of reading. Edit to add, OMG. Thanks for the awards, family. This. A locket with a picture of everyone for everyone, maybe one for the wife too? Would be uniting and not necessarily too expensive. That would cement the family with a physical object which she could wear and hold when she is worried about abandonment. It would be a reminder always that you are her parent/family, and as soon as you can make that happen legally, you will. Edit. Oh geez, wow, tie for awards. Yes. I was prepared to be mad based on the title. I thought that they weren't going to adopt one because they were a problem child or something. Instead, I am tearing up and rooting for them all, especially that sweet girl. Totally crying at all the love. This is a great answer. Also, check into whether the child is of an age to express a preference in your state. Sometimes if they are 16 and want it, you can go through the process and overcome a family's objection. Depends on the state. It sounds like you actually would adopt her if her biological parents weren't so cruel. You're not the butthole. The parents are. It doesn't sound like parents even, but parents' family. What country is this where family other than the parents have a say? I'd assume if their rights somehow haven't been terminated. Otherwise, original poster is just saying no to the youngest to keep the peace. Since when do extended family have custodial rights to a child? From the post, It seems the extended family are not allowing the adoption to go through. Have you looked into this? Seen a family lawyer? Worked with CPS, country equivalent? She's been with you 10 years and is now in her teens. I fail to see why extended family objecting bears any weight here. I don't know which country this is, or maybe original poster phrased it wrong and it's actually the bio parents objecting, but they don't say if they've actually pushed this in any form. Fair point. It's more so that it sounds like original poster is not adopting to keep the peace as the extended bio family are somewhat in her life despite not taking her in. Which seems somewhat crafty of original poster unless they think it would cause more stress for the kid. Or they expect the family to fight them in court? I really can't tell what the issue is, but maybe original poster can't say as they're trying to protect privacy or something. Think it would cause more stress for the kid. I think if the bio family wasn't 100% on board, this could easily become extremely stressful for the kid. I don't think you should discount that so quickly. I had to go through a lot of legal stuff related to my mom in my 20s, and it was really awful even at that age. Even if they tried to shield the kid from legal stress, it'd definitely still leak through. Edit. Or, for example, what if one day the daughter ends up feeling like the original poster was trying to keep her away from her bio family? Big conflicts like this can add a lot of chaos that can have unforeseen consequences. That's an interesting take. I understood it as a legal issue. In some countries, they place a great deal of importance on keeping kids within their community/family. Some Western countries have a 20th century history of adopting indigenous kids away from families who wanted them, into white families, trying to stamp out the culture. These policies are often a response to that history. This is not in America, and different countries view blood ties very, very differently than we do here. Here a decade without taking a child would be grounds for automatic approval, but in other countries they don't do this always. I am curious as to what country original poster is in. I'm in the US. I'm trying to get custody of a niece. We would like to adopt her, but even after we have custody, her paternal grandparents could say no, and prevent us from it. Custody is ugly, expensive, and judges/courts do not want to be responsible for anything, so if anybody who could possibly have say in a matter objects to anything, the courts don't allow it to happen. The whole system is very broken. I've been fighting for custody since December and I'm already out nearly $20,000, and the judge has had 3 chances to help me get our niece away from her family who deal meth and physically abuse her, but the judge won't make that decision. I work in child welfare. Usually, even if bio parents are refusing the adoption, if they are not making progress towards reunification over a certain period of time, their rights are terminated and they have no say over whether the child is adopted or not. Very strange that extended family would be able to make the call on this. It can be an issue in the US. My aunt and uncle had to fight for about 3 years to be able to adopt their youngest son, whom they had fostered since he was a week old. His mom's rights were terminated at the hospital due to the baby being born addicted to heroin and having another child removed previously. His dad was in jail and not on the birth certificate. But a grandma wanted him, despite health problems and issues caring for the mom's first child. It took 3 years to show she wasn't going to be able to care for 2 young children before they could adopt him. The difference though is grandma wanted that child. Are there family members in Op's situation that actually want the child? I guess the part I was answering was referring to the extended family having the ability to block an adoption. If my cousin's biological grandmother had been a viable full-time caregiver, he never would have been placed with a foster family in the first place, given that he was essentially an orphan from birth. I'm also confused. If she has been in foster care that long, the parents shouldn't even have a say anymore. Their rights should have been terminated a long time ago. I think a lawyer could probably advise them of options. But adoption out of foster care is so tricky. We are adopting through CPS right now and both parents' rights have been terminated, so it doesn't matter if they or anyone else objects. In our state, CPS wants a permanency plan in place within a year of the child being removed. That basically means parents have a year to get their crap together or CPS will move to terminate rights so the child can be adopted by a foster family. It's not healthy for children to stay in the system without permanency indefinitely. As we can see from Op's example, even if the child has a long-term foster home, it still causes anxiety, trauma, and distress for the child to know that their situation isn't permanent and they can be removed, so CPS does try to avoid situations like this. Op might be worried that if they stir the pot, then the extended family, bio parents might start fighting for visitation or custody, grandparent rights or whatever. We obviously don't know all the details, but it sounds like original poster is making a calculated decision that he or she thinks is best for the child. Very typical in UK. They always want to keep the child within the biological family unit where possible. They will always prefer a relation to a foster family. If the parents are not suitable, they look to grandparents, aunts, and uncles. They degrade aunt/uncle and cousins if they are known before placing with a foster. Okay, that she's been with a foster for 10 years. I understand if this was very close to her mother abandoning her, but here it's not the same. 10 years of custody of which none of the extended family has contested. Well, I have to say, not the butthole. But I think you should fight for the fourth daughter. You had her for 10 years, I think it's terrible that her bio family wouldn't give her the chance of adoption. Not sure where you live, but get a lawyer and I guarantee the court will be on your side. I wonder how the family even has a say in the matter. They refused custody. That's my thing. I'm assuming this isn't in America because it's not only possible but also probable to terminate parental rights. It could backfire. The bio family is obviously nasty, and I wouldn't put past them trying to get money or wanting the kid back all of a sudden if they see there's interest in her. If they have a say in canceling an adoption, that means they have a legal right to this girl, as sad as that it. Bio family often has the final say in any decision, including who she lives with, as long as the state doesn't reject the placement. Pushing their luck could force the bio family's hand if they don't want to give her up entirely for whatever reason. Please don't give advice if you're not familiar with this stuff. This could get a family in a lot of trouble. I know someone who couldn't be adopted by her parents even though they tried their absolute best to do it because the bio family didn't agree. Courts would probably not be on their side in this. Obviously, I'm speaking anecdotally. I don't know the ins and outs of the law wherever original poster is, but it cost the family of the girl I'm talking about thousands and thousands of pounds just for them to be disappointed at the end. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.